The story begins in a gritty underground fighting arena in Bangkok, where an anonymous warrior named Ryu defeats a brutal champion with minimal effort. Rumors spread fast about this mysterious fighter with a red headband and white GI. Meanwhile, former U.S. military officer Guile is seen investigating the disappearance of several elite martial artists. Clues lead to a shady organization named Hado, believed to be behind an illegal global fighting ring. Guile vows to bring down its leader, the elusive and powerful Bison. Ryu travels to Japan to visit his old friend and rival, Ken Masters, who is now a successful martial arts entrepreneur. Ken senses something is troubling Ryu, especially when he talks about a dark power inside him called the Satsui no Hado. Ken tries to convince Ryu to leave the fighting world behind, but Ryu is determined to find his path. Meanwhile, in the shadows, Akuma watches, waiting for Ryu to give in to the darkness. The tension grows as Ken receives a mysterious invitation to a world martial arts tournament. The tournament is announced worldwide, sponsored by a new tech corporation called Sci-Tech Dynamics, a front for Hado. Fighters from around the globe begin to gather in Hong Kong, including Chun-Li, an Interpol agent posing as a contestant to investigate the organization. Dhalsim, a peaceful monk from India, enters the competition to confront the evil he sensed from afar. Each fighter has their own reason for joining, but all are unaware of Bison's true goal, harvesting their energy to power a weaponized psychic system. As the tournament kicks off, Ryu faces off against an American pro wrestler, Zangief, in a brutal and close match. Ryu's discipline helps him win without tapping into his inner darkness. Chun-Li discreetly plants surveillance gear around the arena and starts gathering evidence. Guile, posing as a coach, secretly assists her investigation. Elsewhere, Bison and his generals, Vega and Balrog, watch the matches from a hidden control room, studying each fighter's abilities and planning who to target for extraction. Blanca, a mutated warrior from the Brazilian jungle, shocks the crowd with his raw power and agility. He is captured after a fight and taken to a secret lab underneath the stadium. There, scientists extract his energy signature and test it in a prototype psycho-drive weapon. Dhalsim senses Blanca's suffering during meditation and begins to suspect the tournament is a trap. Meanwhile, Ryu experiences a violent dream of himself losing control and destroying everything. His fear of Satsui no Hado deepens. Ken wins a flashy match against Vega, but it's revealed later that Vega faked his loss to test Ken's abilities. Chun-Li barely survives an ambush by Balrog and uncovers documents linking the tournament to missing fighters around the world. Guile confronts a suspicious tournament official and learns of a hidden chamber beneath the arena. Ryu meditates, but is haunted by Akuma's whispers, urging him to embrace his full potential through rage and hatred. The darkness threatens to consume him. Bison finally appears before the fighters, revealing himself as the tournament's true host. He offers riches, power, or destruction to anyone who opposes him. Ryu challenges Bison directly, but the dictator dismisses him as not ready and instead assigns Sagat, a former Muay Thai champion and Ryu's past rival, to face him. Sagat and Ryu clash violently, rekindling memories of their infamous previous battle. Ryu defeats Sagat, but a dark flash of power slips through his control, shocking everyone, including himself. Ken starts noticing changes in Ryu's demeanor, his moves becoming sharper but colder. Chun-Li sneaks into the lab and finds Blanca in a containment pod, unconscious and drained. She's caught by guards but rescued by Guile. The two make a plan to bring down the facility from within. Meanwhile, Dhalsim warns Ryu that embracing the Satsui no Hado will destroy him. Ryu is torn between his inner struggle and the external threats closing in on all the fighters. As the second round begins, new fighters like Cammy, an elite soldier with amnesia, enter the spotlight. Her mysterious past is hinted to be tied to Bison's mind control experiments. Bison reveals his psychic weapon to the public as a global defense project and uses it to demonstrate power over an island, wiping it off radar. The world is shocked, but unable to trace the source. Interpol scrambles for answers, while inside the arena, chaos brews among the fighters who now suspect their pawns. Ryu begins training with Dhalsim in secret, trying to balance discipline and power. Akuma approaches Ryu in the night, offering him the final secrets to mastering the Satsui no Hado. Ryu refuses, and the two engage in a silent but fierce duel, with Ryu barely escaping alive. Ken decides to confront Ryu directly, warning him not to fall down Akuma's path. Meanwhile, Cammy uncovers a hidden chamber with clones, experiments by Bison to create the perfect psychic warrior. As the final rounds approach, Bison starts kidnapping the strongest fighters and hooking them into the psychodrive system. Guile tries to lead a breakout, but is severely injured by Balrog. Chun-Li is caught again, but sacrifices herself to help Cammy escape. Cammy, now regaining her memories, turns against Bison and plans revenge. Ryu meditates and finds a calm way to harness his power without rage, awakening a pure form of his energy, the power of nothingness. A rebellion within the tournament grows, with Ken, Cammy, Dhalsim, and Ryu forming a small alliance to take down Bison. They fight their way through security and face enhanced clone warriors. Guile, barely surviving, helps trigger a lockdown from the outside, slowing Bison's reinforcements. Ken is badly wounded, protecting Ryu from a clone attack. Ryu, enraged but controlled, finally unlocks his true potential and leads the assault on the psychodrive facility. Ryu battles Sagat again, who now fights for Bison's redemption, but Ryu defeats him with mercy, showing he has let go of hatred. Meanwhile, Cammy defeats Vega in a fast-paced, knife-edge battle and finally learns the truth about her past. Dhalsim confronts Balrog and disables the energy reactor with his psychic focus. As the facility begins to collapse, Ryu reaches Bison, who unleashes his full psycho-powered strength. The final fight begins. Ryu and Bison clash in a high-stakes battle inside a collapsing psychic reactor. Ryu uses his newly mastered technique to nullify Bison's power, but Bison nearly wins by tapping into raw energy from the reactor. At the brink of defeat, Ryu finds inner peace and counters with a pure Hadouken that shatters Bison's energy core, seemingly disintegrating him. The facility explodes, but Ken and the others escape just in time. Ryu is presumed dead in the rubble. Days later, global media reports the collapse of the tournament, but no evidence of Shadaloo remains. Guile is hailed as a hero, Chun-Li is alive and undercover, and Cammy leads a new anti-Bison task force. Ryu appears in a quiet mountain temple, alive and at peace, training alone. Ken visits him, and they share a quiet moment before preparing to spar again. In a distant shadow, Akuma watches, knowing that the true battle has only just begun. Meanwhile, in a secret shadow vault untouched by the explosion, remnants of the psychodrive are seen being recovered by unknown agents. One of the scientists, scarred but alive, activates a backup clone chamber where a preserved sample of Bison's consciousness is being transferred into a new body. As alarms blare and systems come online, the scientist mutters, "Project Shadow Bison initiated." This hints at Bison's eventual return, stronger, smarter, and even more ruthless. Back at the temple, Ryu senses a disturbance in the energy of the world, his calm moment briefly shaken. As he and Ken begin to spar, the sky darkens for a second, and Ryu pauses, feeling a familiar surge of darkness stirring somewhere far away. Ken notices his unease, and Ryu only says, "The war may be over, but the fight never ends." As the camera pans up over the mountains, a faint laugh echoes, Akuma's, and the screen cuts to black, teasing a darker chapter to come.